I gained a little bit of weight on my honeymoon.
I'm like, whoop, I almost knocked you guys over. My mouth is so dry. He just kept crying, he kept crying, he kept crying. In order to rely on the dark arts, you need to constantly be making mistakes. Like, I didn't want people to see me as that, because like, that's what makes you who you are. Moving forward, I'm gonna be better than that. What's going on, YouTube? It is your boy, Brian Mark, coming at you with another episode on this channel. And in today's episode, Kirsten and I are starting a 100-day fitness challenge. And I'm also gonna be talking about a very deep, transformative experience I had with my hypnotherapist. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the episode. Let's go. Honestly, not excited for these photos. I don't think they're gonna be very awesome, but I just went on my honeymoon and I'm like compassionate because I know that that's the start of a transformation. It's not always gonna be awesome when it starts, but then at the end, people are like, oh my God, he did so good. I'm so happy for him, oh my God. Don't laugh at me.
I gained a little bit of weight on my honeymoon. Don't fucking laugh at me.
All right, that's it. It's a check-in, and then Kirsten and I are gonna check in together. She's asked for me not to put her in this video yet. So we'll put her in as the weeks progress, okay? As we get closer and closer to what we're gonna look like all summer. All right, y'all, so I'm sitting in Nature's Fair parking lot. Nature's Fair, by the way, is amazing. It's probably one of my, whoop, I almost knocked you guys over. One of my favorite places to eat in West Kelowna. It has these like, it's kind of got this like food that you can just grab and go. So one of the things that I just got was this right here, vegan chocolate almond bar, and it is incredible. It's 10 out of 10, so excuse me while I unwrap it. And I want to talk to you guys a little bit about my hypnosis experience, but first, let's have a conversation about how good it feels to walk into the store and have nobody have masks on. Oh my God. It's like in Kelowna, it's finally like people are starting to like actually come back to normal, and it's so refreshing to walk into a store. Oh my God, that's good. So refreshing to walk into a store and have people not wearing masks. It's the coolest thing ever. I'm gonna this up and then I'll continue talking. Check out some water. Big mistake. My mouth is so dry. Okay, so I think I need some water. Have some coffee then. Whatever. Okay, so I want to talk about this is hypnosis, because today I wanted to process guilt and shame and hate and anger and resentment and all of these like negative emotions that all of us have, you know? And specifically speaking, the negative emotion that you have when you make a mistake. And the mistake could be you let somebody down, or you got too drunk and did something stupid, or you're on your diet and you eat something off plan. Let's talk about that guilt that you feel after that, you know? The shame, the disappointment, the sometimes self-hatred can come up. And so today, during my hypnosis, I worked through that. And so I walked in and I told my hypnotherapist, I'm like, I want to work on this like part of me that is like ashamed of, you know, when I make a mistake, this part of me that is like self-loathing, that hates himself, that feels guilty. And I want to work through those emotions and I want to let them go. So me and my hypnotherapist start, she does her thing, her like freaking, you know, she counts you down, whatever. And as she starts talking, she's like, I want you to invite the version of Brian in who is ashamed. She's like, whatever you see is okay. 3, 2, 1, she snapped her fingers. And I saw this version of me that was like cuddled up in this fetal position. And it looked like Gollum off of Lord of the Rings. And he was just like crying in the fetal position. Hold that thought. I need to take my sweater off. It's getting hot. I just realized I do have water in here, but it's empty. So that's cool. So it's me, fetal position. I'm like crying in the fetal position. And this is the version of me that's like ashamed of myself. Like that has so much loathing and self-hate and makes a mistake and just feels embarrassed. So she's like, what do you see? I'm like, I see this like version of me that's, you know, just crying, and he's laying on the ground and he's like, he looks like Gollum and he's just crying. And she's like, well, like ask him what his name is. And I asked him what his name is. He just kept crying. He kept crying. He kept crying. And she said, ask him what his purpose is. But I asked him what his purpose was and like what his purpose was in my life. And he said, to remind you of the things that you've done wrong. And she's like, that doesn't sound like a purpose. She's like, what is his actual purpose? Like, what is he there to do? Like, why does he do that? He said, to keep you on track and prevent you from falling off. That's his purpose. How many of you have ever felt this, like, I talked about this in one of my recent videos, talked about like using negative emotions like the dark arts, you know? And when I say the dark arts, what I mean is that, like, I feel like you can use guilt, shame, remorse, all of it as fuel to your fire, and you can use it to propel you in a direction. But the problem with this theory is that in order to get guilt, shame, or remorse, or any of these things, you need to make a mistake. And so in order to rely on the dark arts, you need to constantly be making mistakes. And that isn't something that I want to do. Obviously, I know that failure is a part of the process, but I never want to intentionally put myself in a situation knowing that even if I up, that I'll be able to use the guilt to get better. That is not a good mindset. That will set you up for disaster. So she said, okay, well, do you think that there's another way that he could accomplish that purpose? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. There's another way he could accomplish that purpose. She's like, okay, well, what would that be? I was like, I don't know. She's like, ask him. I'm like, do you think there's another way that you could accomplish the purpose? He's like, well, I'm here to remind you of your memories so that they feel painful so that you avoid doing them. And she's like, that makes sense. She's like, but do you really think that all of the memories that you have to be painful? Like, do you think those memories have to be painful? Or do you think that they can just serve you? It's like, I think that they can just serve me. And she's like, okay, so I want you to look at this version of you that's Gollum, that's like in the fetal position, that's crying. She's like, I want you to look at this version and I want you to ask it if you'd be open to doing things a different way, to serving his purpose in a different way. So I asked him, would you be open to serving your purpose in a different way? And he was like, yes. And then she's like, I want you to ask him what he needs right now. So I asked him, like, what do you need right now? He's like, support and unconditional love. So she's like, give him that support and that unconditional love. So I just imagined myself transmitting this like red, warm, positive energy to this person, this like version of myself that's like in the fetal position, looks like Gollum. And as I like transmitted my like loving, positive, passionate, like intense energy to this version of myself that was in the Gollum position, I watched as he grew from this fetal position from Gollum into me. And it was just another version of me. And I was like looking at myself. She's like, I want you to take that. She's like, what does it look like? I was like, it's me now. I was like, he like transformed from the Gollum to me. She's like, I want you to take that to the next level and I want you to give him superpowers. And so I like imagine him like with this like warm white light surrounding him. And then all of a sudden he went from like standing to floating. And it was like me, this like warm, positive, loving person that was also floating. And it was like surrounded by like warm yellow energy. She's like, okay, now I want you to take that version of you and I want you to become, you're just like, bring that version of you and become one with that version of you again. Imagine this version of me coming inside of me and just like enveloping me and I could feel it inside of my chest. And then she's like, what do you think a way that you could serve that same purpose of the memory of who you used to be without being painful? And I immediately said, telling my story. Telling my story. Talking about how I used to be a drug addict. It's funny because I think that the reason that I even fell off track and I got like super wasted in the first place over the course of the last couple of weeks, which I vlogged about both times, that's the benefit of vlogging, is I capture everything. I think the reason I even fell off track in the first place is because I stopped telling the story of being a drug addict because I didn't want to identify as one. Like, I didn't want people to see me as that. But the truth is, like, this is the part of my story that like really caused me to become who I am today. And those memories, they don't have to be painful memories. In fact, I can take pride in those memories and use those memories as catapults to help me become a better person. I think that it's so important to, you know, remember who you were and where you came from and what your story was, and being able to tell it in a way that doesn't encourage like guilt, shame, or remorse, and really like loving yourself for all parts of yourself, because like that's what makes you who you are. And so for me, like, I stopped telling my drug addict story because I didn't want to be viewed as a drug addict. But the truth is, like, I was a drug addict. Like, that was a part of my life. Like, I was a drug addict for 6 months. I did a bunch of cocaine and it caused me to massively fall off track. And as a result of massively falling off track, like, I ended up losing everything. I lost my house, I lost my car, I got my car repossessed, I got fired from all my jobs and owed a drug dealer $10K. And that was like the rock bottom for me that caused me to start building the life that I'm living now. And I think it's so important that I never stop telling that story, because that story, those memories, that person that I used to be is what actually keeps me on track. You know, it keeps me from going out and getting messed up, because I know what I used to be like. And so because I know what I used to be like, and because I need to keep that story close to me, keeping that story close to me is what's gonna be the catapult and the fuel to my fire that's going to drive my sobriety for the next long time. And I'm doing 100 days sober, you guys, but I've honestly contemplated quitting drinking forever. And I don't know if that's actually gonna be a thing or not, but it is something that's crossed my mind. Like, in terms of where I wanna go in my life, like, no matter how big I get, or how big this YouTube channel gets, or how big Iron Energy gets, or how big PTM gets, no matter how big these things get, I need to always remember where I came from. And I always need to be able to tell the story of when I was a drug addict and I almost lost everything, because that's where all my power comes from. Right? That's where everything comes from. So today was a transformative experience in hypnosis. I took this like fetal position Gollum version of myself, and I transformed it into this like loving, positive, passionate person, and then I brought it back into myself, and I transformed my guilt and my shame and my remorse into something so much more loving and compassionate, and something that has like I'm loving all parts of myself unconditionally. And I think that's something important to remember, is that you are who you are, and there's no point feeling guilty about who you are, right? There's no point in feeling shame about who you are, because you are who you are. So embrace it and learn to love yourself in all forms. And that doesn't mean that you should not work on yourself or not aim to be better, because I'm all about improving ourselves and becoming better and like leveling up. But it also means that I don't think it should be done from a state of I hate this part of myself and so I must change. It's like, I recognize that this is a part of myself that I want to change, so I'm going to, but I'm still going to love myself unconditionally because I am who I am. And just coming from that place, I think, is so much more powerful. So that's it. That's what I got for you guys as for the hypnosis thing. Now I'm going to go drive to Sobeys, and pick up some stuff. I feel like today I've been a little bit struggling with the whole like no weed gummies thing, because when I'm bored, that's what I'll do. What I'm gonna do today is I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna pick up a bunch of stuff that like, just little things that make my life better. So Molly McButters is this like spice that I use. It's amazing. And then I've got this, it's Mrs. Woolworth's sugar-free syrup, and it literally has, the entire bottle of syrup has 200 calories, so it's literally like 20 calories a serving, and you can like dump your syrup on your oatmeal. So I'm gonna get some of that. I'm gonna get some instant coffee, and I'm gonna do some online shopping. So that's the plan for today, you guys. That's it, that's all for this vlog. Hopefully you got some value. The number one piece of actionable value from today's vlog that I want you guys to take is that love yourself for all parts of you, you know? And if you've made a mistake, or you f***ed up, or you did something that you're not proud of, that isn't a reason to, you know, cast this like dark cloud over your head. You know, I think it's important to, if you're not proud of something that you've done, recognize that and then decide to make a change, but you don't have to hate yourself through that change. You can love yourself. So peace, love, protein, have the best day of your entire life. Make sure you like this video, comment below, turn on post notifications, and tell a friend about this channel, all right? Chase your dreams, let's go. I got one more thing to say before I tune out, actually. So episode number 77, I uploaded it, and it was when I was drinking in Turks and Caicos, and I just wasn't happy with the person that I just watched on video. Like, I just don't like that version of myself. So moving forward, yeah, I'm just gonna be a better person. Moving forward, I'm gonna be better than that. And I'm super excited that I'm doing this 100 days no drinking thing, because I think it's gonna be really good, and I'm excited. I'm excited that I committed to being better, because the good thing about vlogging is you document everything, and the bad thing about vlogging is you document everything. So I was like watching the video and I was like, dude, like this is like not the version of me that I want to be known for, you know? And that's not the version of me that I'm proud of. So I want to work on that, and I want to become better, and I want to be a leader for youth. And so if I want to be a leader for youth, then I need to be a leader by example in all of my actions, and not just the ones that are seen on camera, but also the ones that are seen off camera. And so that's going to be my intention, is to be a better leader by example and just be a better person overall. So just finish up the day now, and I'm officially done the vlog. I know that I ended it earlier, but you know, this is a little bit of an addition. I'm done the vlog. I just went I did a little bit of online shopping, because I haven't done that in a while, and now I'm going to turn my brain off. Probably gonna go watch an action movie. Waiting for Kirsty to get home, I'm gonna go watch an action movie. That's the way I like to unwind, is like watching action movies. I just watched Gangsters of New York. If you guys haven't seen it, it's a Leonardo DiCaprio movie, and it is so good. It's so good. So that's what I'm gonna do. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys have the best day of your entire life. I hope you like, comment, subscribe, and turn on post notifications, and chase your dreams. Peace.